We have a segment on the show where we talk to our guests about their hometown. And today, boom, hit that Breaking Bad music. Ron Swallow is joining us from motherfucking ABQ, baby, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
That's right.
Hell yeah. I don't know if I've ever talked to you about Albuquerque and your experiences there, so I'm excited to hear about it. But
I mean, Albuquerque is fucking crazy.
I've only driven through Albuquerque.
Like, I don't normally do jokes on a podcast, but I think this does illustrate it. You know how from each state they were putting what was cool from quarters? Like Georgia had a peach.
Yeah.
They couldn't decide with Albuquerque whether to put a pregnant teenager or a drunk driver.
Yeah.
So they went with a pregnant teenager drunk driving. But like that's Albuquerque in a nutshell. You ain't got shit to do, but you're also a city, and everybody's
everything closes at 9.
Yep.
And then all you have to do is drink.
I liked the Alabama state quarter because they didn't want to put Martin Luther King on the quarter, so they put avowed socialist Helen Keller. So shout out state of Alabama, you accidentally did something that's fucking hilarious. So yeah, I've driven through Albuquerque. It's beautiful. I know about the balloon fiesta.
I love the balloon fiesta.
Yeah, so you go tell people about the balloon fiesta.
I will say this: Albuquerque is wonderful to visit.
Okay,
you don't want to live there, but visiting Albuquerque is really great. The balloon fiesta is in October. You got to get up early as fuck because that's when it's the coolest. Because they, it's fire.
It's hot air balloons.
It's hot air balloons. So the fire is going off at night, and you can see all the balloons lighting up.
Oh,
and
cool.
you go get some hot chocolate. It's cold as fuck, and then you enjoy balloons being blown up, and then eventually it lights up, and you see a whole sky dotted with like 100 balloons.
Wow. Hell yeah.
I've seen this advertised. You know how like some states have like a commercial that they play at the airport?
Yes.
New Mexico is.
You always see the balloons.
It's the dancing lady and the balloons, and I'm like, the balloons. That looks pretty cool.
I think that they've suddenly, because back when I was young, no one came to visit beyond the balloon fiesta. But
right.
I think now that since Breaking Bad was there and they got a little bit of film stuff, so like Thor, I believe, was filmed there, and a couple.
What?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of.
You
films
thought it was Asgard, motherfucker?
Yeah. There's been a bunch of places that filmed there because they've got good tax credits or whatever.
Yeah.
And also it's one of those places that could be anywhere. Like there's a part of New Mexico where first off there's not a lot of people. Like there's 1.2 million people in the states that's the 5th largest state. So
there's a lot of roaming.
There's a lot of room to go film and see shit. And there's if you go near Taos, you've got white trees and it's like totally different looking than if you go to Santa Fe where you got pines.
Yeah.
And then you've got desert in Gallup, and you've got the red desert near Arizona. So like you've got a variety of shit to see, and it's like a beautiful place.
Got the
driving through New
some
Mexico.
have called it the land of enchantment.
You know what we called it when we were kids?
What's that?
The land of entrapment.
Oh,
Because it is hard to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
And because if you live there, you're like, again, sorry to talk about sad shit, but your job options are either you're smart and you work at Sandia Labs, the Intel plant, and now a little bit of film. But other than that, we're not growing as a city very much. So you're not going to work construction where you make good money. You're going to work at a gas station, a Walmart, maybe a cool little local business being a fry cook. Or something like that.
Or dissolving bodies in a barrel.
Yeah, one of those. Or you sell drugs and eventually go to jail or die. So, it's a good life. But again, beautiful to visit. You can go and you can see all the Breaking Bad shit you want to see because they've got tours for that.
Yes, yeah.
Old Town has some really cool breweries if you're into drinking. And of course, there's the two things that are most important to me, and that's green chili and sopapillas.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. So the food, I love the food in New Mexico.
Fuck yeah. Well, have you guys been to Albuquerque before?
I've been to Santa Fe. I drove through New Mexico, and I was struck at how beautiful it is.
It's incredible.
It is beautiful geographically, and the food was great. Like I didn't know that either, but yeah, amazing food.
The fry bread.
A lot of people think it's Tex-Mex. Shit is not Tex-Mex.
No.
It's its own
way
thing.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. I went last time I was there. I think we was still in season 2 of Breaking Bad, so they hadn't turned Walter White's house into a fucking compound with that crazy woman sitting in the yard being like, "Fucking, if you come close to this house, I'll shoot."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, she doesn't want nobody near her fucking house.
Yeah. See, I
don't blame her.
This is why I was an early adopter of Breaking Bad. When I got there, there was nobody out there. Nobody knew about that shit. Hadn't hit Netflix yet, so I got a nice picture out front.
I went.
Oh, that's awesome.
I did some comedy there. I did.
Where'd you do Dry Heat?
No, this was years ago. It was at a brewery.
Okay.
I think the host was Irish or Scottish or some sort of European. It was a good show. It was fun.
Comedy in Albuquerque is actually pretty fun because there isn't a lot. There used to, we are not getting there yet, but there used to be a comedy club that I was a dishwasher there, and that's how I got stage time.
Oh wow, okay.
I worked at Laughs Comedy Club.
Nice.
Back in the I guess 90s.
Hell yeah. Well, let's get into the questions here. Question 1, Ron Swallow of Albuquerque, New Mexico. What was the incident?
I've been trying to decide which one because there's 2 incidents. One I want to say I'm slightly involved with. I'm not really involved with.
Hey, no, that's even better. We love hot goss.
This one's pretty fucked up, though.
Okay. Hell yeah. All right.
Okay.
So when I was, it's on my album, by the way, on the Wings
of Dragons.
The stories on that, and I'm not doing the long version of it, but the short version of it is I got in a bunch of trouble when I was a kid. I ended up at kid jail. What we called the D home in Albuquerque. Some people call it juvie. We called it the D home in Albuquerque.
Yeah. Kid jail just does make me think that there's kid wardens. Be like, stop it! Stop it right now!
It's like a part of Kid Nation. It's like, and you will be sentenced to kid jail.
You will not be getting any peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
You will not have any pizza and not allowed to stay up and watch Mighty Ducks with us.
If you join the Alien Brotherhood, I'm telling.
Pretty much. And so some kid had been this dude who was gargantuan. He was like, I think he was almost 18 at this point.
Yeah.
He'd been in jail for a couple of years, and I found out eventually, but I'll tell you how the story happened. He's making fun of me because I was a fucking weirdo. And at the time, I'm not exaggerating when I say I was probably, because I think I was 14, so I'm 5'6" and 85 pounds. And this guy is probably 6 foot tall and is just like beefy as shit.
Yeah.
And he's making fun of me, and I don't know why I lost my shit, but I did. And I turned around and I punched him in the chest. And I'm telling you, when I punched him, it was literally like hitting a wall. He did not move at all. Then he looks at me with dead eyes and just says, "I respect that."
Oh, that's so much scarier.
And in my head, I'm like, thank God. But then some kid comes up to me later on. He's like, "Do you know who the fuck that is?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "That guy killed his parents."
Holy shit.
With bows and arrows.
Nice.
What?
And then when his mom wasn't quite dead, he beat her to death with a hammer.
Holy fuck, dude.
And then he threw a party.
Nice.
And
well, we got to get some folks together. This is a celebration.
And he didn't do a good job burying them.
like arms and limbs and shit.
Apparently, a finger was sticking up, and some kid called the cops. Now, this is I don't know how true all of this
At
is.
the party?
Because eventually, I looked it up and found out he actually shot his dad, then beat his mom with a hammer. So he didn't do bow and arrows, but this is what the kid told me.
Yeah.
So, but still, he killed his parents, threw a party in the backyard, didn't do a good job burying him, and got caught.
Like, Jesus, his living room smells like bleach.
It's crazy. And
Crazy party, though.
He knew he had to have one blowout before it was all over.
For
sure.
Or he
Bring
thought
your
he
own
wouldn't get
snacks.
caught. Like, I mean, who knows? He was clearly a psychopath.
Yeah.
He's actually out of jail, by the way.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Although
my God.
He's the mayor.
He was out of jail for a little while. He did some more sketchy shit. He didn't kill anybody, but he did kidnap someone and then torture them to try to get them to pay back.
Fucking
Like,
God.
he's going to do more shit.
That's
Like,
worse. Oh,
Yeah,
my
because
God.
it wasn't like he didn't even accuse his parents of abusing him, by the way. Sometimes you see something like that where, like, there's at least something where they're like, well, my parents were beating the shit out of me, so I killed them.
Right. It's like a self-defense.
But that's
whatever.
not what
Jesus.
this was. He just, like,
Oh,
killed his
no.
parents and then threw a party, then went to jail for 30 years.
God.
My man's
And-
still on the lam?
And that's the guy I punched. Oh no, he got arrested again. They caught him, and he was convicted. I don't know how much time he's going to do at this point,
Lord.
but
Jesus.
But
well, to be fair, if he ever listens to this podcast, I do not live in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Me either.
Yeah, and I don't know the guy who
and I
hit
will
you in the
not be back
chest.
to New Mexico.
Yeah.
If there's
Good
anything,
God.
if there's anything I know about guys like this, is he'll be happy we're talking about him.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Well, and I'm not saying like why he did anything.
Sam said that with the assurance of an old beat cop. He was like, I know scumbags like this, and let me tell you something.
Now
They love it.
there is a funnier incident that I remember when I was a kid
Okay.
seeing on TV, and it's less fucked up. But so during the Satanic Panic, like people were freaking out about a lot of
yeah.
shit, and that went on for a long time in New Mexico because there's a very hippie. It's a Christian-y town, Catholic town, but also just sort of paranoid.
Okay.
And so in 1990, when I was in middle school, I saw on the news that they found these carvings in the mountains.
Okay.
They were satanic carvings, and everybody was freaking the fuck out. They thought there was a cult there. They thought there was that people were going to start getting murdered. All this crazy shit, right? And then it turns out that it was just giant tires.
Okay.
That somebody had buried and put into the ground to play a game that they made up.
Oh, good. Okay.
It was a game where it was like half soccer, half like trampolines, and they were jumping from tire to tire and kicking a ball. You had to try to block it from going in the holes and all this other shit that they had.
Literally good, harmless fun.
100%.
Yeah.
But these bunch of dudes who worked on tractors,
Yeah.
took all the big tires and put them out there. But everybody freaked the fuck out
Oh my
for
God.
weeks, thinking it was some kind of
Christ.
satanic shit.
Dude,
Holy shit.
It's like
And I was in middle school, so I was like, "This is fucking cool, bro."
Yeah.
Satanist.
Take me out to Devil's Mesa.
any place that has breathtakingly beautiful natural vistas.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, cult shit, just Mount Shasta, all that shit. Just
So many cults into Mexico.
People's brains sort of dry up and just float away.
look at the sun going down over those mountains.
Yeah.
Well, you're so
Maybe
far.
my friend is God.
You really are removed from. When you're removed
Yeah.
from the rest of the society, you start thinking shit where everyone around me is all that matters.
Dude, before the internet, one of the first paid gigs I did was at Laughs in Albuquerque opening a show. And when I went out there and I listened to the radio station, because there wasn't really streaming services or any of that shit at the time I was opening. It was maybe 2002 or whatever. So people weren't really doing all of that. And especially in New Mexico, they weren't doing that.
Yeah.
So the most popular station in New Mexico was still playing Motley Crue.
Hell yeah, dude.
Dude, I love that. Living in Austin and Texas and then driving through small Texas towns in 2004 and they're still playing Third Eye Blind it just came out.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like that way all over the country.
Yeah.
My favorite
still.
is this might have been, it was either New Mexico or Arizona, but I do remember driving and once you get out in the middle of the desert, there's almost no radio stations. So you would hit seek and it would just roll over.
Yep.
And then I remember at some point I found one, it stopped and it was literally a guy playing Toby Keith, Aerosmith, mariachi music because there's one radio station for hundreds of miles. So it's we got to please everybody.
Play a variety.
Yeah. So literally it was the wildest combo of shit that. It's
Either get that or you just get a guy who's talking.
Oh.
And you don't know what he's talking about, but he's just he's reading something.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He's so sure of what he's reading.
Oh, the farm auction guys are great. The animal reports or whatever. It's Mr. Collier's got several chickens that are going to be hatching pretty soon. They're going to be available. And of course, we got livestock going on, auction happening up the road in Pineville. And it's a guy doing that for 3 fucking hours.
That's awesome.
That's when I hit the AM station.
Yeah.
When you're out in the middle of nowhere, really see some freaky or hear some freaky shit.
Well, now I just listen to podcasts.
Yeah,
that's right. You download them before you leave the house.
Well, that's how I found this station was because it was so far out in the desert. There was my phone couldn't pick up anything, and I guess it didn't have anything interesting downloaded. So I started scanning the radio, and that's how I found the mariachi, Toby Keith,
Which,
modern
to be honest,
hip hop,
we
fucking
should
classic
do more
rock.
of that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
At this
You
point,
can listen to podcasts in Los Angeles. Why would you not want to enjoy the local flora and fauna and radio stations?
100%.
I refuse. I hike all over, and I fucking with places with low cell phone reception, and I make sure to like download 50 albums and download 50 podcasts,
yeah.
and I won't listen to like a little babbling brook in whatever beautiful place I end up. I'm just like, I need to hear another episode of the same bullshit of the guys I have a parasocial relationship with.
Yep. No, that's pretty great.
question 2, local legend.
Honestly, wasn't a ton.
Who's the weatherman? Who's the,
Oh.
I mean, we got local TV stuff.
I mean, there's a guy I liked named Nelson Martinez.
Oh, okay. He's a good weather guy.
He was actually just a news guy. And my favorite thing about Nelson Martinez was he would do the news in like the whitest news voice, but he was a Spanish dude.
Oh, sure.
And so when he would say the names of streets or any other Spanish things, he would super do them.
Yeah.
So it would be like, today on Juan de Bo and Candelaria, there was a crash.
Feeling those inyays. And
Yeah.
Oh, hell
It's
yeah.
pretty cool. But then I think the biggest, if you want to be, there was two people who went to like pro sports. Luke Longley, who was
I've heard of this guy.
yeah, he was a 7-foot Australian guy who went to New Mexico Lobos. That was the best year they ever had because he was 7 foot and a monster. And then he played with Michael Jordan.
Oh, okay.
He won a championship. And then, of course, Brian Urlacher went to New Mexico. And, of course, he's one of the greatest linebackers of all time. But then, in our world, Mark Maron.
Oh,
That's right,
Oh,
yeah.
Mark Maron's an Albuquerque guy.
Albuquerque guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went to Highland High School.
Holy shit. Yeah, I always forget about that. Yeah, that's
So did Beavis and Butthead.
Not Mike Judge, but Beavis and Butthead.
no in the show Highland High. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of those things. It's like, there's no cool personalities in New Mexico that I could really bring out, but like
Yeah.
Mark Maron, I think, is
No,
actually a pretty good one.
You answered this question better
this
than
is-
most people.
This is
Absolutely.
perfect. I just love James Adomian's one sentence impression of Mark
Who are your
Maron.
guys?
No, he goes, I live in a nightmare of cats. That sums it up so perfectly. I kind of could skip over this one because my man Straight Edge, worst bar. Is there like one that has a reputation maybe?
There's a bowling alley.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, fun for everyone then.
Yeah, it's changed names multiple times at this point, but the bar has always been there, and they do karaoke every night.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
So it's one of those things where if you like karaoke, you will have a nice time at that bar. But if you are a person who wants to go and chill out at a bar, that's not your bar.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You ever done a show at that bar?
No.
Said in a way like I would never.
Actually, it wouldn't be a bad setup for comedy, honestly.
Okay.
Let's make something happen.
Let's do it. Let's book it.
Yeah.
Question 4. Best local food. What do we got? Assume we're going to have to be talking about green chilies here in a minute.
See, this is the problem is there's so many cool little spots. There was like a place called Garcia's that was just this dude who had a restaurant and he made sopapillas and really good green chili burritos.
Fuck yeah.
I'm an idiot. What are sopapillas?
Oh, okay. So you're not an idiot, by the way, because you can't get sopapillas literally anywhere in the United States but New Mexico, basically. And I
Texas.
think there's
In
a couple
Texas,
places
yep.
in Texas now.
Okay.
So basically, it's sort of a flour with some yeast and a little bit of salt that you fry, and it puffs up. The key to cooking them is you have to cook them at a specific temperature. If it's too hot, they burn. If it's too low, they don't puff up.
Okay.
Imagine a sort of like an empanada. If you've never
Sort
seen
of.
or had one, that's like the closest
Sort of.
thing I can say.
Kind of a deep fried
But
empanada.
it's so delicious.
I when I was
And
in
you
New
can-
Mexico, I took a picture of some food that I had because, as I want to do. Tell me if that's what this is, because I think that's what this
Now,
may be.
I will say there is a traditional place that I think most people would say that you should just go to because you go to it, and it's called the Frontier.
Uh-huh.
And that's the bar. It's
At the top?
oh yeah, that's a sopapilla.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That
Yeah.
shit is delicious.
It is
yeah.
amazing.
yeah.
You
Oh my
put
God.
some honey on that shit, or you can cut it open and put the green chili
There it is.
Ooh.
beef in there.
Okay.
But I would say the Frontier is right by UNM, and it's like where all the college kids go to get cheap ass food.
Okay.
So
nice.
yeah, that's one of the good places to go to.
Question 5: local ghosts or monsters?
Well, the big one, and this is because one of the things that Albuquerque is sort of like, I don't want to say famous for because it doesn't really make any sense to say that, but it's ditches. So we have
Wow, Albuquerque sucks.
it does. We have cement ditches that you can skate in, by the way.
Okay.
But there's a thing called a ditch witch.
Yeah.
And the legend is like, I think it's like La
Llorona.
Yeah, it's very similar to that, where it's like somebody drowned in the ditch, and so she haunts it, or she will pull you into the ditch when there's water in it. So don't go there. It's most like those stories to try to get kids
don't stand
to
in
fuck
the
around
ditch
in the
during
ditch.
a flash flood.
Yeah.
Did you skate?
Yeah, I was.
Oh yeah, you're a rollerblader. Of course.
Yeah, and that place is. The ditches are fucking perfect because it almost never rains there,
right?
And you know when it's going to rain because it's so obvious, so you can avoid it. And those ditches are like so well made for skating; it's wild.
Last question: favorite thing that's not there anymore?
So I already said Laughs Comedy Cafe, which is a bummer because it really was a good comedy club. I don't know what they did wrong, except for that, whom I hope probably won't listen to this, so whatever. But he was a middle act for a long time and a headliner-ish guy. To give you an idea, he would do this. He would bring people up and have them put their arms behind their back, and then he would put his hands under their thing, and that was like his closing.
Oh yeah, he would do their arms, and he'd like make
Have
them fake jack
do
off.
stuff.
And,
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah. But he also the club was still fun, and it used to be run by a guy named Ronnie Baca, who died in a motorcycle accident, and then sold it to. And now my understanding is there was some kind of pig cheating scandal between and his wife and the lady who ran it.
Oh wow! Okay,
and it kind of just went out of business because of that, and he made some sketchy business decisions.
Damn.
So it's a true bummer because it was like a 300-seater. And it would sell out Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and then Wednesday and Thursday it would be like 2/3 full.
Yeah,
so you were having fucking fantastic shows at that club all the time, and we got like, we'd get George Lopez and Paul Rodriguez to do the New Year's Eve show.
Oh, cool.
But the rest would be like road dogs. So I met like some really interesting like road dogs while I was working there because of that place.
And you said you were washing dishes there at some point?
Yeah, I was washing dishes.
Nice.
And fry cook a little bit when the fry cook would go to jail. Which happened a couple of times.
Of course.
Good food.
And then my other thing that's missing that also it truly makes me like personally sad because it was a place that like I would go and hang out with my best friend there all the time was Putt-Putt.
Oh, sure.
We used to have this really great putt-putt that had like a little castle and like giraffe and all this fun shit, and it had an arcade, and you'd go play putt-putt. I took dates there. I mean, I did all kinds of shit at that place.
Damn.
Go-karts?
No go-karts. This was small.
Okay.
No go-karts in Albuquerque at all. We had Uncle
They're not allowed.
Cliff's.
That's too much fun.
Oh, and the beach. The beach was the water park that we had for a little
okay.
while. It's called the beach, and actually it was a pretty fun water park. For New Mexico, I should say.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it just didn't get enough business, and it cost too much money to maintain because you had to draw so much water. But like Putt-Putt is one of the sad ones, and it's still like there's like articles about will Putt-Putt open again even like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And people, I like went and took pictures with my brother. I went and visited recently, and went and took pictures at the Putt-Putt.
That's sad that it's still around.
Oh, yeah.
That's super sad.
There's a dead water park in Auburn that's been dead for probably almost 20 years at this point, and every year
Just see
it's
those-
like, wow, wouldn't it be nice if this came back?
See those slides, just a silhouette against the
Rusting,
skyline.
they're
Yeah.
rusting and got kudzu going up them and everything.
Oh, and I wanted to give you guys an idea of how important green chili is to New Mexico.
Oh, it's everything.
and red chili too, but green chili is probably
Especially,
a little more, especially. So my lady came with me to a memorial for an older gentleman who was like sort of my dad-ish guy who died. And he was 84. It was sad, but he was 84. He lived a fucking great life.
Absolutely.
And the first thing we did was when we got there we got there a little bit late, and there was a Denny's right next to the hotel we were staying at. So we went into the Denny's, and I'd been telling my fiance about green chili forever, basically, and I've cooked her some dishes with green chili and all that shit. And then we go into the Denny's. I decided to order like some breakfasty stuff, And then she goes, "Hey, do you just want a bowl of green chili?" And my and my fiance just started laughing. She was like, "You weren't lying."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because they literally just brought me a bowl of green chili that I could add to anything I wanted to add.
Right. Here's your chalice of the
Wow.
of that slimy green.
And it was delicious.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Like, the green chili there is so fucking good. I think it's better than the Anaheim green chili, which is fine, by the way. It's still good green chili. But
it's also just like part of the culture out there where it's just on
It's the real deal. It's the authentic, it's the genuine art.
Hatch green
chilies.
It's
Yeah,
delicious.
that's right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, that is a tour of Ron Swallow's Albuquerque, New Mexico.